The Crooked Anchor and the Grail of Dartmoor. No one in the Crooked Anchor could say exactly when the fireplace changed. One day it had been there, grand, soot-blackened and unpredictable, and the next it had been replaced with a cardboard cutout of itself. The likeness was disturbingly accurate, right down to the charred bricks and the tiny scorch mark shaped like a goose, but it was flat and smelled faintly of shoe polish. David, wiping down the bar with his usual enthusiasm and oblivion, had noticed it first. "Oh, that's new," he said brightly, squinting. "Looks very realistic, doesn't it?" Brian, who hadn't looked up from his Devon Chronicle in 11 years, except for moments of deeply necessary disdain, grunted. "Might be a fire hazard." "Don't think cardboard catches fire if it's already pretending to be fire," David reasoned, which no one questioned, because it was the Crooked Anchor, and logic was optional. Pete glanced at it once, blinked, then returned to not drinking his eternal pint. And so the cardboard fireplace was left unspoken about, partly from discomfort, partly from tradition, and mostly from fear. It was a Wednesday when the man came in. The storm had passed but left Dartmoor grey and wet, and the man looked like he'd been stitched together from peat and regret. He wore a faded green wax jacket, carried a rucksack, and cradled something wrapped in a flannel tea towel like it was a newborn. "I've found it," he said, stepping inside with the wide-eyed seriousness of a prophet and the breath of someone who'd had nothing but bracken and fermented turnips for breakfast. Brian lowered his paper. Pete blinked. Even the cardboard fireplace seemed to lean in a little. David, as ever, smiled. "Found what, friend?" The man looked around dramatically, then whispered, "The Holy Grail." There was a beat of silence. Clifford, emerging from the kitchen with a tray of suspiciously shimmering pasties, paused mid-step. "The actual one?" "Dartmoor hid it," the man said, setting the flannel-wrapped bundle on the bar like it might sing or explode. "Buried deep in Wistman's Wood, guarded by fog and foxes. Took me 3 months, 17 blisters, and a vision from a particularly aggressive pigeon to find it." He unwrapped the bundle slowly, reverently. Inside sat a cracked porcelain egg cup, floral-patterned and thoroughly unimpressive. David leaned in. "Is that the Grail?" "Yes," the man said, eyes shining. "Can't you feel it? The presence?" Brian squinted. "I feel indigestion. Might be Clifford's radish lasagne." Clifford made a hurt sound and returned to the kitchen, muttering something about Philistines and beetroot reductions. David gently poked the egg cup. "Where's the inscription?" "Worn away," the man said immediately. "Centuries in the soil, but the energy remains. It called to me." Pete stood up. The room went silent. He walked over to the egg cup, looked down at it, then turned and uttered just one word, "Argos." The man blinked. "What?" "Sticker on the bottom," Pete said, returning to his corner. "Code 4347771. I had the same set in 98. The man stared at the cup, betrayal setting in like frostbite. But the visions, the whispers, the tingling in my elbows. "Mild trench foot," Brian muttered, taking a sip from his eternally half-empty pint. David, always the optimist, patted the man's shoulder. "Well, it is a lovely egg cup, and honestly, this place has seen stranger things." As if on cue, the cardboard fireplace let out a tiny flutter and shifted slightly in the breeze that no one could feel. The man slumped into a chair, cradling his Grail like a failed science project. "Could have been worse," Clifford shouted from the kitchen. "Last week someone found Excalibur, and it turned out to be a bicycle spoke." And so the Grail of Dartmoor remained behind the bar, used occasionally to hold loose change, spare dart tips, and on one occasion a shriveled pickled onion no one remembered ordering. The cardboard fireplace stood still and watched, as did Pete.